the Acoustic Shop channel. I am John here with Jeremy one more time, talking guitars.
And we're joined today by a Guild and a FERC.
Yeah, we are.
Well, we're going to talk about the Guild.
We're going to talk about this one because this is Guild's top of the line. It is the D-55, and we're going to talk all about it right after this. Well, Jeremy, we are back to talk about Guild guitars, and these are very, very popular guitars,
yes,
and have been for quite a long time. In fact, this is the top of the line mark. Before we get into all the coolness of the D-55E,
and we're going to get into coolness.
We are.
Tell you guys right now, teaser, coolness ahead.
Coolness ahead. We're going to tell you that we do have a clip to a complete performance with this, as well as a link to take you directly to tone samples. So if you don't want to hear all the coolness, you can go straight over there. You know,
or if you think the coolness is just hearing the guitar, then I'm with you, go for it. But we're going to talk about it a little bit right now. So for the rest of you guys, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, do that. And tell all your friends about it, because we want to meet your friends.
I like friends.
Your friends are our friends, and our friends are your friends. It's called a community. It
is. Anyway, Guild is back, and we've talked about this a few times on this channel. Guild is doing some pretty amazing things, especially their USA department. Now, we have had, I will be totally straight and honest with you, we have had some quality control problems in the last couple of years with COVID, and especially in the imports. A couple things on the US side, but they are really good usually at getting that stuff rectified, especially on the USA side.
And remain encouraged, and I guess we'll give you a little guarantee that we don't keep them if they have problems, so we send them back. So if you're buying a Guild from us, it has passed our second layer of quality control. And unfortunately, we had to ship a few of them back to them, say, hey, this isn't going to fly with our customers. You might send this to another store and they'll be fine with it, but not our guys.
Nope, we're going to look for the best. And in fact, actually, this very guitar was that case. We did have some issues on the D-55, and it took 3 different guitars till we got one that we felt like, hey, this is it. This
hopefully they're getting the idea that, hey, these guys are going to send it back unless it's top notch, so let's be careful. That means we're getting the best here at the Acoustic Shop, folks.
I like that. I like
the other stores get the rest.
It really is about that for us. We love to, make sure that everything is right. And I don't want to take anything in that is not. We're talking about high-end guitars.
We don't want it to come back to us either.
Yeah.
We don't want that relationship with the customer. So, and this isn't just to pick on Guild. A lot of people, when COVID hit, the orders went through the roof, so they're trying to increase production. And some manufacturers didn't keep up with the quality they were putting out before then. So the 55, that's a U.S. build, correct?
It is. It is a U.S. build in Oxnard, California. Oxnard. One of the things about this, and we're talking about that build quality, the reason why we got into Guild, honestly, is the import stuff is good, and we do actually sell quite a bit of it, but what I was really most impressed with was the new USA facility. It is a facility in Oxnard, California that is still able to spray nitro. All of these guitars are sprayed in nitro, and they're building a USA-built guitar with the old stylings as well as the overall toolings. In fact, they're using the same tools that they used in the original Guild, some of the same molds. All this stuff is very, very reminiscent of except they brought in Ren Ferguson, who a lot of you know did a lot of work with Gibson as well as a lot of other companies, very well-known luthier, and he was able to kind of help them with their designs, modernize them just a bit, and make them to be even better guitars than what they had been. And I honestly mean this. The Guild guitars of today are better than your grandfather's Guild guitars.
It's I guess when Cordoba or Cordoba, however you want to say it, they bought the Guild name. They also got the facility that had all the old
not the facility, but they got hold of the entire
all the equipment that they used to build the original Guilds. So a lot of the backs that have the rounded backs, the presses for those were the same that they used on the original ones. Mm-hmm. Back in the folk era, Guilds were just the thing.
Yeah, 50s, 60s, and into the 70s. This was the guitar company to kind of choose. And I think there was a good reason behind it. We've talked about this before. Your main brands were kind of going to run through some major slumps in that period of time. And it took companies like Guild and Mossman and Gallagher and these guys that were building smaller numbers that were coming out here building higher quality guitars to force those guys that were at the top to go, hey, we need to step up our game a little bit. I know everybody wants one of our guitars, but we got to make sure that they come out pretty good. And it was up to these companies to be there. I think they were all great again for their time period. I still say that they're building better guitars now than they ever have, and all of those companies, every single one of them is building better guitars right now, and the standard is higher. Stuff that like we talked about here, that we sent back, these are things that, again, 30, 40 years ago would have passed quality inspection by a long shot. If it was playable, didn't make all kinds of racket, and was at least, okay sounding, go. They weren't as worried about the specifics, but we kind of think that people expect more nowadays. They want to see a higher quality build. So anyway, the D-55, top of the line. This was the one you saw in all of your stars. You would see anywhere the Smothers Brothers to Joan Baez. The 55 was the top of the line. It was East Indian rosewood, a Sitka spruce top. Had this really cool inlay. It's a block inlay with a V in the middle of it, and the big peg head, and the everything, gold-plated hardware. This was the max of what you could possibly put in there. And they always had this extra purfling line that was separate from the bound fretboard. And same with their bound fretboard. It wasn't just white bound. It actually had 3 layers of purfling below that. So, again, really cool guitar. Absolutely top of the line. I really am impressed with this guitar. If you're not a heavy-handed player, it actually sounds better in a softer feel, which is actually probably smarter for me because I have a tendency to go overdrive every guitar, and maybe if I had this, I wouldn't do that as often. But when it does, it's a really sweet tone.
When you talk about that folk era, most of those guitar players were more just playing rhythm. Does this lend itself better to just playing rhythm strumming, or is it a good lead guitar as well?
It's less apt to be because of the projection and that in-your-face deal. I would say it's probably more of a strummer and can be done as a finger-picking guitar. I mean, this is stuff that, you would see, like you said, that James Taylor type of sound in a Dreadnought, even though he moved later on to smaller bodies. I think I think this is a really good guitar for a lot of different styles. Again, a bluegrass flat picker, maybe not, but it's still doable. But I'm not going to say this would be a prime choice for that. But I am really, really surprised at the warmth and depth of this guitar. So anyway, quick little run of the specs again. It is a Sitka spruce top. It does have extra abalone around the rosette, as well as all this extra binding all the way across, just to be very decorative. I love the block inlays. Ebony bridge, bone nut and saddle. This will be an inch and 11/16 nut width, gold-plated hardware. Again, nitrocellulose lacquer with an East Indian rosewood back and sides. I don't think you could ask for too much more, especially if you are into that look and sound of Guild. This is pretty much what you would expect to get out of it and more.
And we talked about what turned us on with Guild being an American-built, having some American-built models. The price range for an American-built model was very
competitive.
Very competitive. Yeah.
This is definitely not like I break the bank. Even though you're getting a top-of-the-line one, this is not like the custom shop guitars that we are seeing a lot more of these days. This is like get all the extras at a more standard type of price point. So there you go. The D-55. You know what we're going to do right now, Jer?
I'd love to hear it, John.
Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to play it for you right now.
appreciate you guys watching that video. It was my favorite one we've made so
the
far.
best
We've
video
done hundreds of videos, and that was the best one.
It was.
And the next one's going to be even better. If you'd like to see that, be sure you subscribe to this channel. And also, the more you comment and interact below, the more the YouTube algorithms pick it up and start pushing it out to other people, like-minded people.
Algorithms?
Algorithms, they're everywhere. They permeate the internet, and YouTube's got one, and it watches our videos, and it sees how much you comment, and then it pushes us to other people like you. And we want everyone to experience the Acoustic Shop world, where we talk about instruments, we do reviews, we got some fun videos coming up. We thank you guys so much for being a part of it, and we'll see you in the next video.